The O.J. Simpson case was not compelling to me personally as something to watch and to observe and to talk about, because I felt the deepest terms in relation to Guy Debord's work on the notion of spectacle. It was situated as spectacle from the very beginning, and it seemed to me that that construction of it as a kind of carnival, as a spectacle, meant that one could actually not participate in that without in fact colluding with the very forces, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, that had led to the violent death of Nicole Simpson in the first place. And I felt morally and ethically that as a feminist who has opposed domestic violence, who has wanted there to be a recognition of the meaning of domestic violence as one of the ways in which patriarchy affirms and perpetuates itself, it was impossible to feel that in any way benefiting from this, that I was actually not then colluding in not only affirming the patriarchal culture of violence that surrounded this case, but also actually working to do the very thing I critique about patriarchy in my work around domestic violence, which is that we're made to think that this is a lesser story, and the more interesting story is the story of the life of the perpetrator. It seems to me again and again that part of what patriarchy does to reaffirm itself, and violence is one of the strategies that it perpetuates and reaffirms itself, is making us all identify with men who are violent as potentially our heroes.
Not guilty.
From a shelter for battered women in Chicago, a surprising reaction, cheering his innocence.
So it felt to me that the spectacle was already constructed before any of us were invited to be onlookers, observers, witnesses, etc., in such a way that I simply did not believe that any of us as individuals had the power to intervene on it so that our words and our writings would not in fact be used to further the spectacle, and not in fact to further people's concern with domestic violence. And certainly Nicole Simpson was the incredible example of a person who had money and who could have altered her life in significant ways that she did not choose to alter her life. Perfect candidate on a certain level for a more complex understanding of patriarchy and domestic violence and women's allegiance to sexism. One of the sad aspects of Nicole Simpson's life was her own continual allegiance to sexism and patriarchy, even as it was threatening her life.
What does he look like?
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record. Could you just send somebody over here?
Okay, what is he doing there?
He just drove up again.
He just drove up.
Over?
Okay, wait a minute. What kind of car is he in?
He's in a white Bronco, but first of all, he broke the back door down to get in.
Okay, wait a minute. What's your name?
Nicole Simpson.
Okay, is he the sportscaster or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the shit out of me.
Wait a minute. Wait, just stay on the line so we can know what's going on until the police get there, okay?
Could you just please, OJ?
The one time that I did go on television and I said that I could be on Good Morning America and I could be asked about the O.J. Simpson case, and it was stipulated all, beforehand that I could be asked one question. I was asked to just give my response, but they really wanted me to say who was innocent and who was guilty. And what I said was that the only thing I really knew about the O.J. Simpson case was that it began and ended with male violence, and that no one, to my knowledge, ever speculated that there were a bunch of women waiting outside that house to hack anybody to death. Cut the cameras. That's not the quote that anybody wanted to hear. They wanted the black woman to be choosing against the white woman or to be protecting the black man. They wanted this whole racialized scenario when the issue is male violence against women, let's bring on some other kind of issue that makes us not pay real attention to male violence. And that's why race offered the perfect sort of screen to have another drama that everybody could be linked to. The masterful nature, conservative aspect of this spectacle was it so successfully got people to move back into very one-dimensional positions of identity, politics, of racial or sexual essentialism, because there was no frame within the spectacle itself to allow for a complex accounting of what was taking place. It's only in the aftermath now that we can enter the wreck of this spectacle and say, here's how we can account for it more deeply. Here is how we can have a complex reading.